How are you all? Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I urge you to do so at Prime Real Estate Rick. You can follow me on Instagram directly at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate, reach out to myself directly on Facebook at Rick Davis Real Estate or on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you this Thursday. It's great to be back here at the Sphere Podcast Studios in Houston, Texas, man. We missed you all last week. But this week, we are really excited because we have a great guest lined up. But as always, I have to introduce my co-host. Not only is he a renowned Texas real estate broker, a multi-time author, serial entrepreneur, the proud proprietor of the Pure Hustle clothing brand. As always, we want to thank for holding it down with us at the Prime Real Estate Network. Give a shout out to my co-host, the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. LarryWBrooks. What's going on?
Hey, Mr. AKA Texas Real Estate King, AKA Mr. Pure Hustle.
Absolutely, man. Good to see you, brother.
No doubt, man. Hey, had a great weekend. You know, I ended up going down to Atlanta.
Right.
They had this event called Invest Fest. And not going to give away too many details. Had a good time, learned a lot while I was there. But we're going to be later on this week, we're going to drop a video of me just giving a recap, the things that I learned, the successes or the things that I felt like could have been worked on at the event. So we're going to drop a video on that on the YouTube channel. So y'all like, subscribe, and stay tuned for that. You're going to really, really enjoy it if you enjoy following the Earn Your Leisure crew.
No, and see, the cool thing is without getting into any specifics about exactly what you're going to have in the video, but from just an atmosphere standpoint, can you share with our audience a little bit how the atmosphere was in Atlanta, the event, all the movers and shakers? How was it from a creativity? Did it spark anything in you that might have already been laying dormant, or it just had you going at 100 miles an hour?
Come on, man. You know, the thing about it is I always come back from conferences with a renewed spirit of hustle, a renewed spirit of energy of really just getting at it, right? And so I came back with that same renewed energy and spirit. But, you know, it was over 4,000 people at the event. And I can honestly say I can't think of the last time I actually had attended an event that was that large with youth in it, like young folks. You're talking about from 18 to 45, I would probably say was the age range of the people that were in the building. And just for have people sharing the layout, it was a pretty good, it was a dope experience, man. So it was one of those energy builders. You came out of there and you understood why those because the guys that put it on are not old, but what I found is a village, right? You have all these people that are learning from each other. They building each other up. They're using their circle of influences in order to pour into other people. So it's crazy that I'm seeing what we've heard people talk about our culture not being able to do. I saw it.
Hey, without any further ado, I want to introduce this week's guest. This fine gentleman is not only a leader in our community, but he's also an entrepreneur and, most importantly, a professional realtor with Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, holding it down with us on a Thursday when we all know everybody's Thursday is busy. I want to thank him. Mr. Sedric Hudson, what's going on?
Man, what's going on? Listen, I have to find me. Well, I don't have to find them because they're right here in my corner already. I'm so excited to have people like you guys. Appreciate you, Rick. Appreciate you, Larry. Having guys like you in my corner, man. That introduction got me hyped up. If I was down after eating that lunch, that breakfast, I'm back up right now.
Come on, man.
And you know, I try to be transparent and candid with our audience, Sedric, man. I appreciate you for sitting in with us. I almost cornered you before at a Brooks and Davis event and asked you when you was going to hold it down with us, and you told me, man, no, I'm going to definitely make that happen. So for being a man of his word, I appreciate you, no doubt. But let's get down to the facts of what's going on with your real estate brand and your company, man. So if you don't mind, please introduce yourself, your real estate brand and practice to the audience, and what it is that you provide as a service to the community.
So, as Rick stated, Sedric Hudson. I'm new to, well, not really new. I'm back in my home city, town of Houston. Relocated here recently from the Austin area, but again, back here, jumped in with Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm as quickly as possible when I got back, because I appreciate what those guys stand for, what they're doing in the community, what they're doing with the people that they partner with and work along with. One of the first things that was told to me when I jumped into the brokerage, I called Mike Davis for some advice. And I said, well, as my supervisor, so forth, so on, so on. He goes, hold on, I want to stop you there. I'm not your supervisor. We're partners in this. We're working together. And so that just stood out and meant a lot to me as I embark on this journey of entrepreneurship. What I offer, my brand is all about servicing what I would call really the common person, the common civilian, the common American, that blue collar worker. My background is 15 years in education.
Wow.
And so I served in all types of capacities, tons of leadership roles in education. And so it's easy for me to connect with people that are out there working hard, healthcare workers, teachers, firefighters, policemen, so forth and so on. Just your everyday community members. That's really my brand and what I stand for. And what I believe.
You became an entrepreneur. What was your thought process? Who showed you an example? And what were the kind of things that you were considering before making that decision to transition?
Okay. Some heavy questions.
That was weird.
Yeah,
you roll those back to back on
I'm
you.
ready for it. So
I like it.
So it's a good storyline to it. So if I go back to the point where I was in education prior to having my license. When I started education, I started with a good friend of mine in Austin. His name is Chris Templeton. He has his own brokerage there, Reliance Realty Group.
Oh, really?
There. And so we taught our first 2 years together as teachers. And he decided to branch off into the world of real estate. And he quickly, excelled in that world.
Right.
And so from that point on, every year he would say, hey, you really need to think about this entrepreneurial stuff and this real estate.
Yeah.
And that went on for years.
Wow.
That went on for about 6 to 7 years every year. And even after he established his brokerage, he tried to get me into the brokerage, and I was just committed to education. This is where God has called me. I know that this is my purpose. This is where I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
But the more, the time went on, I just started to, as I got to the point of being married, we got ready to have kids, So I started to see the vision started to become bigger than just me, right? It started to be about my wife and about now my 2 boys. And so we got to the point where, so I guess the question, that tipping point for me was when I really sat back and started to think, okay, what is going to be the legacy that I'm going to leave whenever I move on, whether that be I leave here tomorrow or I leave here in a good ripe old age of 90, 95, what is going to be that legacy, something I could tangibly pass on to my kids and my family. And as much as I loved education, I just continued to tell myself, well, I have that legacy of knowledge that I can pass on and information, which is great, but I want to set them up for even more. Right, I can continue to do
legacy building.
Yes, and not be in education. And so once I finally hit that wall, and just for me personally, if I'm being honest, I did a lot of praying and talking to the wife. And I said, God, if this is where you want me, like I need you to shut these doors and I need you to open these doors.
Wow,
and
that's
quickly,
strong.
These doors shut. And these doors in real estate open. And when I say they open, I want the audience to know I'm not speaking about like these financial doors. It's not like all of a sudden I got 200 sales and all right, we're ready to go.
Right.
It was just more about just that pull at my heart and God showing me the clear vision of where I will be, where our family will be in the future moving forward. And for me, that was big enough.
Yeah.
And so that.
No, and what's so